Cryptocurrencies have always had a controversial side. As a more difficult to trace currency, it's had its fair share of criminal use.
Ilya Lichtenstein and wife Heather Morgan were arrested and charged with laundering $3.6 billion in Bitcoin.
However, the more popular it has become, the more control authorities are trying to impose over it to prevent criminal activity to be hidden behind untraceable operations. That's what happened to mother of three Kristy Felkins. In 2016, Kristy paid 12 Bitcoin through a website to have her ex-husband killed. What she didn't know was that the website was not only fake, but someone would later report her to authorities, and the FBI would uncover the plot and all the evidence they needed to charge her with the use of interstate commerce facilities in the commission of murder for hire. Today we're going over this Bitcoin-related case and taking a closer look at the crazy exchange of messages between Kristy and the website admin, which could easily be taken straight out of a movie. Kristy Felkins has lived around many different parts of the United States. In 2004, she and her husband married and lived in Northern California during their marriage. They had 2 children together. When the marriage ended and the couple got a divorce, Kristy moved to Orlando and then Nevada. She also had a 3rd child with a different partner, making her a mother of 3. Not much else is publicly known about the couple, other than what Kristy would later reveal pushed her to go online and find a website that arranged a murder for hire. In 2019, an informant came forward to authorities with information about a site called Besa Mafia on the dark web, where transactions were made in exchange for murder. The FBI traced the activity on the site and uncovered the messages the admin was exchanging with registered users. Although it no longer exists, when it was active, the site was advertised as a legitimate platform offering a variety of services, including murder. However, upon further investigation, they discovered the site was actually a scam, and although payments were made, none of these services offered were ever provided. On February 26 of 2016, Kristy's account was created on this website. Her username, KBGMKN, wasn't obviously linked to Kristy, but when analyzing all of the evidence pulled from the site, authorities had a lot of reasons to believe this was, in fact, her. The email the account was created from had the initials of all 3 of Kristy's children, and as they dug deeper, investigators would find more evidence linking KBGMKN to Kristy. Kristy Felkins got in contact with Besa Mafia, asking about murder for hire services, and immediately, the site's admin informed her about the payment method. During their first exchange of messages, they talked about different options to use Bitcoin for the transactions without leaving a trace. Although cryptocurrencies don't operate in the same way as traditional currencies, transactions still need to be linked to a name. By using third-party providers and different methods, these transactions can be harder and harder to trace back to the original owner and thus be used to fund illegal activities. Before sending over the payment, Kristy had her doubts about the website's real intentions. She told the admin she'd been reading up online about many sites like this one being a scam, and wanted to make sure that, quote, the services would be completed before forwarding the money. After an exchange of messages during the next week or so, on March 6th of 2016, Kristy paid Besa Mafia just over 12 Bitcoin, which at the time had a value of approximately $5,000 US. The service Kristy required was a hitman to kill her ex-husband and make it look like an accident. Once the money was received by the website admin, Kristy sent her ex-husband's home address and began informing about his routine. The admin told Kristy it would be better if she wasn't in town when it happened, to minimize any suspicions about her. She had a trip planned for the next week, which would put her out of town, but the admin informed her that 1 week wasn't enough to prepare for a hit like this. They offered another date, a few days later, and Kristy accepted. The hitman would be waiting at her ex-husband's work address and would shoot him once he got out of his car. The admin then asked if the victim would be traveling with anyone. If so, Kristy should inform them whether or not that person could be hurt, since collateral damage could happen. He might be traveling with his girlfriend, Kristy confirmed. I have no problem if she gets harmed. Kristy asked if it could be posed as a mugging gone wrong and maybe take his wallet, but the admin told her that would be an additional $4,000, so Kristy told him to go ahead with the plan. Over the next few days, the admin confirmed that the hitman was in position, but he was never able to locate the target or find them in a secluded enough spot to carry on with the plan with no witnesses. Every day there seemed to be a new problem, and Kristy began getting anxious, since her ex-husband had an upcoming trip to San Francisco, and it would be harder to know his whereabouts once he was there. She even went as far as to offer additional money if it could be done the next day. The admin confirmed to her this wasn't a problem, since the hitman could get a flight to San Francisco too, and find a way to make it all look like an accident, perhaps running him over with a car. Kristy still wanted everything done before her ex-husband would travel to San Francisco, and even suggested hiring a sniper to get the job done early in the morning, while it was still dark and he was on his way to the airport with his girlfriend. Like she stated before, she had no problem if she was accidentally harmed too. The website admin continued to tell Kristy the hitman could never find a chance to get the job done, and although she continuously told them where her ex-husband was during his trip, the hitman never seemed to find him or a good moment to kill him. By March 28th, 1 month after the initial contact with the website, and with still no job done, Kristy became furious and demanded she get her money back, since it seemed like they weren't going to be able to deliver. The site admin convinced her to be patient and continue to trust in their services. But her ex was still alive, and she really started to question whether or not she was being scammed. On April 9th, fed up with the wait, she required the admin to ask the hitman to send her a picture of the street sign where her ex-husband lived, to make sure they were at the right spot. To avoid being sent a fake picture, she pointed out the photo should have the hitman's finger on the right side of the image. Eventually the site admin sent over the photo, but Kristy quickly noted it was a Google Street View image of the street with a finger badly photoshopped in. The admin and Kristy exchanged a few more messages where she accused them of scamming her, until all communications ended on April 19, 2016, nearly 2 months after she first created the account. Her ex-husband was still alive, and Kristy went on with her life as if nothing had ever happened. But it did happen, and 3 years later, the information would come out thanks to this informant, who uncovered the illegal activities and scams that went on that corner of the dark web. But how was Kristy traced back to the information? First and most importantly, it was the Bitcoin payment. Although it might be harder to trace, involving a third party, it's not impossible. The payment was traced back to the account KL85 Coins. The initials match Kristy's name and her middle name Lynn, and the 85 matches her birth date, March of 1985. The account was also created on the same day she created the account on her website, and the email associated to the payment account, while different from the one used for the Murder for Hire website, contained her first and last name, Felkins. A phone number also had to be linked to the account, and according to records from 2016, that was Kristy's number. Finally, her IP address was also matched to the IP from which the transaction was made. There was no doubt, Kristy Felkins was KBG MKN, and she was trying to have her ex-husband murdered. A warrant was issued to search Kristy's email accounts, phone, and bank records. Investigators found proof of communication with her ex-husband on the days he was supposed to be killed, to find out his whereabouts and plans. Since the couple had children in common, this communication didn't seem suspicious at first. But when crossed with the messages between KBG MKN and the site admin, the information given by Kristy's ex-husband was being sent straight to the admin to arrange the hit. The amount of evidence left no other options but to issue a warrant for the arrest of Kristy Felkins for attempting to hire a hitman to murder her ex-husband. Although the murder was never completed since the website scammed Kristy, her intention was what counted, and she was arrested in late 2020. But what led Kristy to go to a website and ask for her ex-husband to be murdered? The couple was finalizing their divorce, and they were rebuilding their lives separately. During one of the conversations between the website admin and Kristy, she opened up about the motive and accused her ex-husband of mentally and physically abusing her, and she was afraid for her children's safety. According to her message, she ran away and he took the children. She fought to get her children back, but she was afraid it would happen again, so she needed it all to be over. However, she also mentioned she'd be getting money from her ex-husband's death. She and her children would receive compensation from insurance from his retirement fund, his house, and additional money from other life insurance policies. Kristy said money was one of the reasons she needed this done, since she was running out of money from having to relocate, the divorce, and her family not being wealthy. She said she was spending the last of her savings on this service, and that's why she needed the hitman to get the job done as soon as possible and make it look like an accident. In March of 2022, Kristy Felkins pled guilty to all charges. The evidence against her spoke for itself. Kristy had attempted to hire a hitman to kill her ex-husband and obtain financial gain from it. She is currently awaiting her sentence, and she's facing a maximum of 10 years in prison. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, please leave a comment or a like. Interacting with the video really helps this channel grow, and I truly appreciate it when you leave your thoughts down below.